What are the total amount of 5-star and 6-star shards you can pick up as either an uncollected, Cavalier or Thronebreaker player to bag yourself? Lots of opportunities to pick up either Quicksilver or Agatha Harkness. Let's face it, by the time this video comes out, I've probably guessed that Quicksilver has won the champion choice for the Summoner's Choice 2022. What is this video really about? Well, it's all about how many shards, as I said, that you can pick up. It takes into consideration on a monthly basis between the point of, again, assumption, but logical assumption, when we're likely to see the new champion come in for the Summoner's Choice, and how many opportunities and how many times you can do that featured crystal, and when it is likely that we'll see that particular featured crystal. Let's begin. So I'm going to use Hercules as a blueprint for this particular video because then it gives us the amount of months we've got available. For those that are interested, it was at the end, or kind of like start point of December 2020 when we learned that Hercules had won. It was then the development point of January 2021 that then took to July of 2021 in order to develop the champion. So that gives you, it's about 7 months of development time, which then means that you then have a further amount of months to save up for a featured crystal. When it came to the 6-star crystal, that went in on the 5th of October 2021. So that was obviously after July, August, September, October, 3 months after. But 10 months is kind of like what we're working with. 11 months, however, after is where we see the featured 5-star come in for the champion. So again, this gives us this idea. We're kind of working with either 10 months or 11 months. But we kind of like can just like put it down to, let's just say 11 months for hell's sake, to say, right, that is how long you've got to hoard 5-star and 6-star shards. Now let's face it, in Marvel Contest of Champions, we don't know on a monthly basis, or at least now at this point, January 2022, how to predict how many shards that Kabam are going to give us, because they could thrust in anything. A Grandmaster Gauntlet type content that's kind of like a semi-permanent thing, or kind of like well, semi-permanent because it will come back at some stage, but at least say something that say the Summit of Pain, or some type of content that's going to be there and go is kind of what I'm referring to. But you can get a real idea of like how many variants Kabam put out last year and kind of put that into the equation, as well as monthly basis definites, and those definites are knowing what's going to be in the Cavalier event quest and the uncollected event quest. Also, when you consider factors of side quests, normally a side quest each month will give you about 5,000 6-star shards. That's normally a definite. 10,000 5-star shards, but it could increase at times to about 20,000. But it depends if Kabam put a nexus in or don't. There's so many different types of variables that kind of like can skew things. But what I want to do is put it down to an average amount, especially from what Kabam have done in previous months. Now, I'm not going to spend the entire video kind of going into specifics because it will slow down the pace of what I want to create with this, especially by going, hey, look, here's right on the screen right now all the breakdowns of this stuff, of the amount of 6-star shards and 5-star shards uncollected Cavalier and Thronebreaker players can look to pick up, and the same with 5-stars, in order to prepare for those featured 5-stars and featured 6-star crystals that will be dropping later on in the year. But if you want it in a kind of like quick go over type thing, if you look at some of the previous content that I do, especially by looking at some of the previous side events, you can get real details of things like the volume of 5-star shards, the volume of 6-star shards you pick up, as well as looking at calendars, as well as just other content that comes on in from time to time, variants, random content that is appearing, Grandmaster Gauntlet type stuff, but it's only specific, Summer of Pain, maybe, Summer Appreciation. We don't factor into this the gifting event because it's kind of like how I want to treat it is as soon as the crystal goes live, boom, you can pick it up type scenario. But you could wait until towards the, like Christmas time before you kind of or the gifting event before picking up stuff, and Kabam's birthday, which will give some stuff. So I'm trying to do that without it, and kind of at an end point of November. Whew, okay, we've done that. I've kind of like clarified the point without having to kind of like go through every single little bit. But in a nutshell, there is options. On a monthly basis, on average, there is about 13,500 6-star shards. But what I do want to point out is there are variables and things that can shake up everything. Like next month, if you do the side event and do all of the aspects of buying the stuff for the Mojo Bucks, you can look to pick up, and solo and the solo event that comes up, you can look to pick up 13,000 6-star shards. Just about. It might be a little bit less than that. 750 6-star shards comes from the candidate as a Thronebreaker player, and then there is 7,500 6-star shards available by doing the Cavalier difficulty. That's correct. Yeah. So that's that. But then that's the thing, isn't it? That could create variables, and that does create variables for things like Cavalier players as well, which can up things. So that's something to be warned at. Like, it's not to really say that there's 21,250 6-star shards available for all players, all progressions, every single month. It's just one of these cases of, again, averages. So you could, between the month of January and November, as an uncollected player, see 38,500 6-star shards. But there could be more stuff, which will be explained at in a second. For a Cavalier player, you could be looking at 151,750 6-star shards. And if Kabam put in something like, I don't know, you have to be Thronebreaker in order to achieve this, then you could be looking at 164,000 6-star shards. Now, as well, you do have to consider other things. Now, I haven't put in things like July 4th deals, because it just depends on what's on offer. Kabam could go down the route of selectors, nexuses, or other things which could kind of like derail anything that you want to pick up and save for it. You also have to take into consideration things like 6-star nexuses, which, look, don't factor into any shard acquisition, but if you dupe champions and say by, like, 10, 11 months, you're picking up 10 of those 6-star nexuses and you dupe, then that's fantastic. You will pick yourself up 2,750 of like shards for your trouble. So that's kind of like good. There is kind of like option there for that, and that kind of adds in. But you don't want to be going into your shards and opening up 6-star basics. And the thing is, you could get 6-star basics, fully formed stuff, without you kind of like even having to worry about buying anything. There's also permanent content like variants, 5,000 6-star shards a time, times 2, because let's face it, we'll probably have 2 variants in that time span, which hopefully will kind of like will happen, but I don't know if Kabam have the time. Variant 8 was just terrible, but so Kabam learn lessons. They don't, but we'll see if they do. Grandmaster Gauntlet type content could see anything between 20,000 to 30,000 6-star shards, depending on how it's kind of like made up by rewards. And Summon Appreciation could see 7,500 to anything like 10,000. It's hard to tell, and it's hard to guess what happens, because we had the camp thing, resort, over the summer, and that gave a lot more than 7,500, but it depends what and how Kabam want to kind of preface it and do it. There's also permanent content, which could be something, again, up to the player if you're going to grind out stuff that you haven't done before to pick up shards. So it could see an additional 50,000 plus 6-star shards available to you. But that's not going to be for everybody, especially if you're uncollected. You may not have that opportunity to grab that. It's really for those that are Cavalier and Thronebreaker, so you could be able to squeeze in a little bit more. But if you are interested in the 5-star featured, then that's a different ball game. There's a lot more 5-star shards on offer, especially because, look, there's lots of content to do. Whether or not you're going to be doing the monthly side quests, whether or not you're going to be doing the like Cavalier difficulty, whether or not you're going to be doing the uncollected difficulty, you could pick up a lot more. And that's just the thing. Options are available. I personally now will not touch uncollected. I may do if I fancy doing it, but I kind of feel that it's more wise for my time to invest it into grabbing revives and health potions from certain content on repeatable, but also doing auto fighting through normal and heroic whilst I concentrate on making content and the work that I'm doing for a game studio at the moment. So at least I kind of, there's different options there, and you have to always look at your time and availability to do these things. But I am still committed to doing some like end game content. That's why the revives and health potions are more interesting to me. But still gives you an option now if you want to be saving up for the likes of Quicksilver, which, let's face it, is probably going to win, and Agatha Harkness. Then you got your process from doing the uncollected event quest number 1 by doing some of the side quests, or doing all of the side quests, to be honest, from auto fighting through Master and doing Epic at the same time. And if you were able to push through to grab the to kind of like up your progression title throughout the year, then that may be more of an option that's available to you. But there is some like better stuff to pick up the more you go through, and 5-star shards are more on offer for those that are uncollected nowadays, And yeah, not so much for Cavalier and Thronebreaker, because the effort and the push is towards the 6-star shards and rank up materials, especially as you go through. More options, again, for like variants. You can pick up a nice chunk from 100%ing a variant, especially if you're Cavalier and Thronebreaker. Maybe not on offer for those that are in uncollected, unless you're only, you can still do it. It's just the case that all the variants aren't that great at times, especially if you want to kind of pursue any kind of like great improvements to a roster that you may not have a huge amount of champions in. 565 5-stars will be able to do it. Rank 4 5-stars may not be able to, so you have to go make that personal decision if you're available to do it or not with the roster that you have. And as well, you may see some stuff in the Summon Appreciation. So yeah, I mean, figures wise, you could be seeing anything upwards of 200,000 5-star shards. And again, this is based on side event acquisition of information. I will put a link to this spreadsheet. I don't know if anybody's interested in it. It would need to be completely refined, but I can't really spend 10 hours looking back through the last year of 5-star shards, 6-star shards for 3 different progression groups. It's going to be that's a long ass amount of work for what is. I just don't think people are going to be ridiculously interested in this. But to give some rough figures, this is what I'm going with. A large amount of 6-star shards and 5-star shards. If you save now, between now and say November time, you'll be able to have plenty of opportunities. Yep, loads of opportunities for you to pick up some 6-star features, especially, you know, you've got upwards of 10 for Cavalier players. Maybe even Thronebreaker players are pushing into that that sweet spot of 15, maybe even more than that, especially if a good Cyber Weekend, July 4th comes about. And especially for those that are uncollected, you know, maybe 3 attempts. Well, 2 definitely, 3 attempts could be there as well. But start saving now and think about that. That's the thing. If you really want some of the champions or the champion that is going to win it, which let's face it's going to be Quicksilver, then at least to like say that you have plenty of opportunity to do it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. That's a little bit of a video. I might put a link in the description to the spreadsheet if anybody's interested. But apart from that, yeah, that's been the video. Thanks very much for watching. Good luck in your saving, good luck in your grinding, whatever you're doing, whatever you're planning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now. Yeah, check out some stuff on screen, whatever that is. Probably some news or something like that. Check it out. Bye-bye. Bye.